What's up everybody, this is QuiteGoneJin continuing my Fallout 4 Let's Play. We're actually going to be making a response video to another video that critiqued Fallout 4. So without further ado, let's get into it. If you're curious about the actual video that we're responding to, it's I believe MrMattyPlays or MattyPlays. I will definitely be putting a link to it in the description. He has a huge channel and I have a non-existent channel, so it's not to worry too much, but still it'll be nice to show that he is the one that got me thinking. So on top of a response to his video, which is basically a critique of why Fallout 4 is missing things, and I agreed with it almost wholeheartedly, and also find that what he didn't do was go into how to fix these things and how hopeful we are that the modding community and a DLC between the two can actually do such. So we'll be playing some inconsequential, probably, what do they call them, radiant missions, and those are the ones that are repeatable, while making this discussion. You're good, you're good. When did you get a shotgun? Interesting. And on top of responding to this video, I will be giving some feedback on how I think you can actually fix Fallout 4 along the lines of what he was thinking. So, without further ado, let's get into the discussion. I also have a few mods I will be playtesting while we do this, so we'll talk about that after. First off, the main thing I think Mr. Matty hit on for me was that Fallout 4 was missing side content. And once you've completed the whole story, all of the really interesting storyline is delved into. It's still a big game, but it's not the 300-400 hour game that, you know, that Skyrim was, and it's not the game that could play different every time. That's a big deal. And his criticism was that basically the time spent on the voice protagonist probably, and making the main story so much stronger than it was in the past, because that was a criticism for the game, is what took away from the fact that the side story in all of the Bethesda games was amazing, and he wanted to weigh against the two. Again, I'll put a link in the description. I agree, but and I still think that those are better. So I'm more interested in going back and playing Skyrim, a modded Skyrim, than I am in playing a modded Fallout 4 because of the side content, because of how differently it plays every single time. That being said, I think that Fallout 4 can get there. So there's I would say a three-step process that would be necessary in creating the perfect Fallout 4, or at least emulating the side content that the previous games had. The first step would be, well, believe it or not, Fallout 4 has jankier melee combat than Skyrim, which is sad, and I think it's something that should be fixed. Now, a melee overhaul is something that can be done through mods or DLC. As soon as the GEC is available, probably people will be able to do it with mods. I've mentioned a lot of this stuff in previous videos, so if you want to go back and watch some of my Let's Play, you will notice me discuss this. But a quick overhaul would be melee needs more movements, more animations, and a little bit more control with your attacks. So in this game, when you attack, you can move with it, especially the strong attacks. I did see a mod out there that is fixing that, and I want to get into it later. What it does is it makes it so you can't move as much when you're mid-attack. You know what? Sorry. I saw a mod that does exactly that in Skyrim. So I will go and I'll link that in this description. It was one of the new combat mods. I believe MXR, another great YouTuber that revolves around Bethesda, recently posted this mod. And if someone could do something along those lines, that would really help. So it adds dodging to the sides and the back and forward, and it's stops NPCs from being able to follow with their attacks once the attack animation is started. It sounds limiting, but it's actually not. It's a good thing. So dodging in all directions and being able to attack in all directions, or at least moving away from attacks from all directions is pretty important. Now, The other thing I would say is that the parry, what would you call this? The block is kind of janky and it doesn't always work. And also your animation, you can't really interrupt someone else's attack with your faster attack. You get staggered too easily. So these are two things that need to be worked on. Some people want dual wielding, some people want dodge rolls, some people will want more actual animations. There's a ton of animations in the game that are not being used. You'll notice that for the most melee combat you get one or two very similar animations regardless of what attack you do. That's pretty much it for the melee for this character, and I don't like it. I think that needs to be expanded upon as well. So let's leave melee combat aside. That is not the big part. The second part would be depth of the game, side story content. So there's a fair bit of it. There's a lot of side story content. There's a large ability to do stuff with your companions, but you could finish all of the side story content in one playthrough, and that's deceiving about this game. There's no reason to go back if you want to see a new story, because if you really played a completionist and you wanted to get to, you know, like the 50+ levels and finish the game as high as possible, then you'll probably discover almost everything. There needs to be more side content that are tied to factions, tied to companions, and that shut out other side content. So this is something that's more suitable for DLC. DLC, Bethesda, if you're listening, you need to bring out some DLC that has compelling, interesting stories, that has you working with certain factions tied to companions, and that shuts out other bits of story in the same scope, so that when people come back and they decide to make other decisions, they see other content and it's completely new to them. That's a big deal, and that's sorely missing. It's tough to do when everything is voice acted, and I'm almost sure that people would be happy if the DLC wasn't fully voice acted. Now, not happy as in it's better and there might be a little bit of a hubbub about it, a bit of an uproar, but it would be acceptable if it created that side content that not everyone can see. Or not everyone can see all of it in the one playthrough. Alright, that's probably the most important part to me, and it's hard to stress it properly, but you need to feel like the consequences of your actions really affected your playthrough, not you're going in for a smorgasbord and you can have everything in one shot, and it really feels like that right now. So that is a big deal. Yes, I said I would do some missions, and I probably will, but I really want to get these 3 points across, and then we'll review the new mods that I got.
I wish more people could see this. Remind them what it's all about.
I don't know why I picked that up. The third point is territories, settlements. So much effort was also put into the settlement process that other things were trimmed down. And as much as I like settlements, they don't do enough to excuse me losing a lot of side content and story and some of that Bethesda feel. That feel where, those feels where you have the ability to play a completely different game every time you play it. Right now it's more like I have a completely different combat style every time I play, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a completely different game. Story-wise, it feels a lot thinner, and that's one of the bigger criticisms of this game. So let's ignore that for 45 power generator. This is clearly some of my settlement expanded stuff. So let's put that aside and talk about how it can be fixed. Why not add some more depth to settlements? They're already there. A ton of work was already put into them, and they're not doing everything that they could. So this is probably a good mission for modders. I don't want to give out too many specifics because I'm brainstorming as I'm playing, and it's clear that I could probably use someone who's more equipped to sit down and do some heavy brainstorming to flesh this out completely. But that being said, I would say that a good way to use settlements would be to create a better base defense, tower defense minigame in the game with some kind of territory control, so that you feel like you're really helping your faction and have maybe some kind of benefit, possibly story, possibly maybe gear, I'm not sure, some kind of benefit to having territory control. So if you take a settlement or you save a settlement and you actually build on it, more attacks, more dynamic attacks from enemies that are surrounding the area, and some kind of reason to want territory control. Maybe even the mini risk type game where you can see on your map, let's take a look here, because you can't do from bench, maybe be able to see on your map the actual territories that are available to you, the settlements that you've opened but you haven't built on to perfection, or at least to the minimum standards. And that would help a lot. Some kind of story content to go along with it, or benefit for keeping that territory. So let's review. You have better melee combat, which is something the game sorely needs. You get some type of territory control that ties in with settlements, so that people find the settlements are a little bit more exciting other than just a very interesting Lego Minecraft place to show off. And then finally, more story content tied directly. More story content tied directly to the companions and factions, and limited once chosen, so that, you know, like when I played Witcher 2 and Witcher 3 and I decided to do something, I knew that other parts of the story were completely cut off.
We really did it. I've been watching the Minutemen fall to pieces for so long, this is really something.
And you knew you wanted to play through it again.
Pay off on what we've started. Bring the whole Commonwealth together and make it last this time. So, you know, back to business. But with Radio Freedom up and running, we can broadcast alerts to you anywhere, anytime.
All right, buddy, Radio Freedom. So let me know what you guys think. Comments in the video if you can, and you know, maybe if I get enough exposure, I can get Matty's thoughts on this, because I really respect his video and his ideas around the game. He's someone who has been fanboying Bethesda for quite some time, and I think his opinion deserves, you know, some deep thoughts. So we'll leave it at that for the response video, and I think what I might do is just mention the mods that I don't think I can build anymore. Okay, the mods that I got, and I'll let you know what they do. So True Storms is back. It's no longer having an audio bug, so I made sure to, I wonder if that'll power everything up. Yeah, look at the lights. Oh, I've never turned this place on before. So True Storms is back. That's fantastic. It was bugging for me in one of the earlier videos. It created an audio bug. So when the next storm comes, we'll know for sure if that's the case and if I have to deactivate it, but I don't think I do. V.A.T.S Tweaks is the biggest mod that I want to play with, so I need to get into a fight to do it, and we'll do that momentarily. But what V.A.T.S Tweak does is it stops it from, it slow-mos, it changes the slow-mo speed to more like Jet and a lot less like vanilla, which is way too slow in my opinion and just makes things a little too easy. And it also makes me shoot faster, slightly faster, like 25% faster while I'm in V.A.T.S, so that I have a bit of a benefit to make up for the loss of the slow-mo that I have. There are a lot of tweaks to that you can do. Like you can turn off the other cam, meaning like when you shoot someone and it goes to the enemy's body for V.A.T.S and the kill cams. And sometimes I find that really janky and you end up seeing in through the body or in weird perspective from the wall. So I turned that view off. It's always going to be on my character. You can have it so that your kill cams always go to first person, which would probably be really good for melee. You wouldn't get the slow-mo, but you would get the kill cams from here instead of the external ones. I've long since thought that someone needed to tweak the kill cams and the V.A.T.S to make the game look a little bit more, a little less janky. I would probably even add this criticism to the melee criticism earlier for my 3 points of how to, you know, really add some content to this game. And one would be when you're killing something in V.A.T.S and you're not actually hitting it, you're far away from it, and you just swing, and then the body, which is well over here, just dies. That really kills the immersion for you, and it's hard to just sort of ignore that. I find it very difficult. I don't know about you guys, but I need the impact to actually hit the bodies of the enemies, and also if there are limbs flying, I think they should be flying off of the parts that I actually hit. I shouldn't have hit someone in the head with a melee weapon and then his arm falls off, just pops right off, which is kind of weird. So that's V.A.T.S tweaks, and then last is scrap dead things. Let's take a look at that and see if it works. I don't know if I have it. No, maybe I didn't do it right. Those are dead things. I'm sad. So I did download and install scrap dead things, but I didn't test it. I thought it'd be fantastic because there's lots of bodies. I don't know if you need to be in the workshop mode, and I don't know if it if it allows you to scrap everything. Excuse me. So that's something I'll likely have to test. All right. So that's gonna be my response video, guys. I will probably just cut this one really short and then do continue with the Let's Play. I won't title this part of the Let's Play because clearly all we did was goof around while we talked. But let me know what you think. I'm very excited for modders and DLC, and I'm very hopeful that the game can come to completion, in that it would be a very Bethesda-like game, because it's not right now. I mean, some parts are there, but a lot of parts are lacking because of the voice protagonist and because of the settlements. So again, let me know what you think. We'll go from there, and I'll see you guys in the next Let's Play video. Have yourself a great day. Thanks kindly. This is QuiteGoneJin, and we'll talk to you soon.